Kia ora koutou. Today is Creative Centre Friday. Fridays are my allocated day to just sit in the sun or somewhere warm and prioritize whether it's play or freedom, all those kinds of things. So I've got some stuff I'm working on, and for the first 5 minutes I'm going to have a kōrero while I do it, and then after that I'm going to just hang and do my own thing. I just making space for creativity or play or freedom, even if it's just once a week. It starts out as maybe awkward and you might feel yourself resisting it, but eventually it becomes a routine. And from this routine, you'll develop a discipline of making space. And in that making space and that discipline, you'll start to prioritize yourself, your goals, because you can't make space to prioritize your goals and your vision and your life that you want from a space of stress. The stress mind is literally not designed for that kind of process. The stress mind is designed to keep you surviving. It is not designed to keep you thriving. Okay, and so coming out of that stress mind starts out as a little hobby, but eventually it becomes a habit and a discipline and part of your life. And it starts with just 5 minutes a week. For me, I'm encouraging you to try for an hour a week. And if you need the prompting to do so, this is the prompting to do so. You can come back and watch me later, and while you play, I'm happy to talk to you, and you can watch while you make yourself some time in the afternoon. Okay. Once you develop allocating that time, once you start to make it a priority, things you have been struggling with will start to make sense. Okay? They will start to reveal themselves. And so, if you don't try to make sense of things, they will make sense of you. If you continue to try and craft a way toward your dreams, like your whenua or home ownership or your money, and you continue to try and do it from a state of disarray, then it will continue to feel like it is not possible. The number one, maybe the top 3 reason I find people are not able to progress through their whenua Māori and their home ownership and their money goals, this is my top 3 reasons, is because it becomes emotionally too hard to do. I don't know if you've seen my posts this week. If you have been reading my posts, you'll realize that the financial literacy is not the reason we don't have homes. It is not the reason that we don't get home loans. Okay? That's not the reason. The reason is there are some big systemic problems. There are some things holding us back that are outside of your power. They are prejudices. They are home loan schemes that don't work, that are designed not to work. They are laws that are designed to keep you from being able to get loans for whenua Māori. They are by design. And then what covers it up is the talk about how it's your financial literacy that's holding you back. Have you ever heard me say that it's your financial literacy? You haven't heard me say that. That's because it's not your financial literacy. But you do need a roadmap to know how to get around the roadblocks that are out there. Now, if I continued to simply fight and take on the system and just spend all my time calling out the negativity and fighting battles, I would not be here 7 years later. For myself or for the business, it is designed to exhaust you and me so that we give up. That's the design. It's literally a strategy that works. And so creative sets are Fridays, and me prioritizing my creativity, me prioritizing free time. Try ringing me right now. You won't get me. I won't answer your phone call. Okay? It's because when I use the other part of my brain and my being, I become powerful again. I tap into another reservoir of energy and space to think. Have a break from the stress. Have a break from the, from being upset about systemic problems, about banking systems and loans, about homelessness. You need a break from those. No matter what your circumstances, just 1 hour of whether it's creativity or playing with your children, breath work, whatever it is, it will give you clarity. And on Fridays, I indulge in clarity. I do it a lot of other days as well now. I indulge in the wealth that comes from not having to be a beast of burden, even if it is just for 1 hour. I roll around in that like a dog rolls around in the grass on a sunny day. And often, a lot of the conundrums I'm trying to figure out during the week, I get to process them on this day and this time. And oh my God, the aha moments I come up with. And I say, wow, any bugger who wants to get in my way in the next week coming better look out, because I've just figured something out. And I figure these things out in times like this. When I take my power back, my power is my right to have my own time. And I'm offering that to you right now. Take back some time today, an hour of your time to do whatever you want. Okay? And in that hour, you aren't wasting time. You don't have to be productive for anyone. In that non-productive time, you'll start finding the answers to things that you've been struggling with. Yep. May not be straight away, but eventually on Fridays, all the moments will become clear. The only reason the wealthy and the powerful are wealthy and powerful is because they spend a lot of time playing golf, and they leave their PAs with the work, and they leave their subordinates with the work, and they go and give themselves space to get clarity, to make decisions. And once they get that clarity and make those decisions, they find ways to stay in positions of power and wealth. Trust me, the wealthy, the real wealthy, not just the rich, the wealthy have an abundance of time to play and be free. And that is how they create strategies to continue winning. And so you must do the same. If you want to achieve on the home ownership ladder, and if you want to achieve in getting through the system to create your papakainga, and to be successful in whenua Māori, you need to make space for another energy. I call that space creative centre. You can call it whatever you like. Could be your breath work. But until you start acting and behaving like a sovereign, people will always treat you like they're mokai. And I have a lot on my mind at the moment, being particularly my cup overflow, my cup runneth over. When I heard about a broker or a bank manager who, instead of wanting to process a loan for whānau in Ponsonby, instead he wanted to buy their house from them. That made me rageful. Because when they didn't want to sell, they withdrew the loan. It's not even legal. It's not even ethical for a bank manager to do. And you see, if I stay in the space of anger as a professional, as a woman who has a kaupapa I want to achieve, home ownership for Māori families, for Indigenous people, right? So we can keep our lands. make homes for our mokopuna. If I want to do that, I have to last. And if I stay rageful and angry and resentful, I won't last. The number one thing you can do for your success is to last. That's all you need to do to be successful, is stay in the game for long enough. And after that, you'll start learning how to advocate for yourself as well. I can teach you how to advocate for yourself. After you learn to advocate for yourself, you'll learn how to stand your ground with banks and brokers, with crooks, with narcissistic power. You'll be able to breathe your way through the conflict. That is why, if you come to me and be part of my program, I won't let you grind. You'll come out of that space of punishing yourself. And instead of punishing yourself, you will learn the power that comes from being soft, being full rather than pointed. Like attacking is a point. You're attacking all the time. You're pointed, and all the pressure is on one part of you. But if you spread yourself across different energies throughout your day and week, you'll tap into resilience. Let that dry. Kapai? Does that make sense? Good. Glad it makes sense. So I'm going to get on working on my hui for the day. I hope you go and find something to indulge in. Hope it makes some sense. That's the indigenuity method of coaching and financial literacy. You don't need no financial literacy, folks. That's a bit of you. You don't need financial literacy. You know exactly what you're doing with your money. You know exactly what you're doing with your priorities. Hey. You're just needing to find a way around the roadblocks and the bullshittery I'm telling you, I've gone from having nothing 7 years ago because of conflict, mainly. Conflict resolution is the main thing we need to work on. And 7 years later, I'm able to spend most of my time doing this. And wānanga and studying. My kids are all in houses. I've got a block of land now, whenua Māori, and it is muga tree. And we're going to build on it. And we're going to let our toi Māori be the way that we build our house with our little business. We don't need a bank. Sometimes you need a bank. But when it comes to whenua, you can tap into other ways to fund your houses, and that's what we're going to be doing and showing you how to do. And it all comes from the creative space. Don't let the system tell you that the only way to do it is to be financially literate, to have spreadsheets, to do more work, to charge more money, to get more jobs. If you do all of that, where's the time to enjoy the whenua that you are aiming for? Right. Good. Okay. Well, Creative Centre Fridays. On Fridays, we get creative. We make space for play, freedom, creativity, so we can tap into the feeling of wealth. And in that feeling of wealth, we become wealthy. And then after that, it's just making money, building a house. That's easy. It's easier than tapping in, than the practice that we're creating now, to tap into your creativity and your heart space to power you through what may feel and seem impossible. It is this way. It is to stop, get out of the way of the grind. And your brilliant answers and your brilliant mind will reveal itself. And I know I'm dressed like a fairy and probably sound like I'm a bit airy-fairy, but I'm not. This is the behind the scenes of how I've managed to get through for so long against odds. Starting out as a single mum with children and just some bright ideas. It was because I refused to be consumed by a patriarchy, by grind, and by employment, like just being employed, and by the rising cost of money, of food and living, and by conforming. I put my foot down and I said, F you, I don't believe that. And it appears that I was right. Always look at the hua of what somebody, an advisor or a program or a course, have a look at what they have. And if they're struggling and if they're grinding, why are you following them? Why are you paying that person to be your advisor? Have a look. Ask them, are they retired? Ask them, do they have whenua Māori? Ask them, do they build their house on the land? Ask them, are they working 50, 60 hours, or do they have the wealth of time? Be careful who you follow. If they are in grind culture, they may be sending you down that path. And grind culture is not the path and the space for whenua. Whenua is not property. Property is a part of whenua. But whenua is about cultivating a connection to your home, to why you're doing it, and to the generations behind you and the generations before you, in front of you. mokapuna tupuna, right? And you're the conduit for all of that, as well as whenua. And so you cannot create whenua connections through money. Money is a tool. Money is just a tool. Part of the flow and the system of where you're trying to go. Okay, and so the creativity we indulge in on a Friday is a source of your power, and it creates the opening to the connection. It allows you to remember, oh, that's why I'm doing this. On the days you want to give up and stop the discipline of clean banking, or the discipline of saving, or the discipline of working, or the discipline of conflict resolution so that you get on with your whānau. When you are low in energy, those things are difficult to do. But when you are high in energy because you are nurturing other energies, it's easy. Bit of an inconvenience sometimes, but it's easy to carry on and keep going. Yeah. This is how I spend my Fridays when I can. Anyway, I'm going to go keep working on my creations. Ka kite.